Alright, welcome back to More Than Peachy's Gaming. I'm your host, Mune. Uh, so, just for warning, I do have some background noise. It's just a few fans. Uh, it's gonna be throughout the video. If it bugs you, I'm so sorry. I'll try to do something in the future about them. But right now, with the weather as it is, it kind of necessary. But today, I'm here to discuss my thoughts on and predictions for Square Enix at this year's E3. Let's start with the big thing with Square Enix. As many other news sources have already noted and stated, there will be no new developments for Final Fantasy VII and Kingdom Hearts. Like the release date is apparently further down the road, like 3 years. Though I'm really hoping that they reveal something more for these games to give us all a little bit of hope that they are being worked on and some confidence uh, that Square Enix has not forgotten about them since they were kind of announced a few years ago. I'm hoping that this doesn't end up being a 10-year development time like Final Fantasy 15. One of the more recent reveals that we know is coming out on the PS4 is uh, Dissidia, Final Fantasy NT, which is the PS4 port of the arcade fighting game, which is based off of the PSP fighting game. So uh, that's probably going to be at E3 without much of an issue. Probably will be at the Sony press conference, or at least hopefully on the show floor to be played. So we'll probably hear a little bit more about that. Of course, they're not going to be quiet about it. Their other Final Fantasy titles. We're probably going to hear a bit more about Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age, since it releases sometime next month. I believe it's July 19th. Don't quote me on the date. It may vary based off of which region the world you're part of. Uh, I'm hoping that they briefly go over that because the release date's really soon. Um, Another Final Fantasy game probably also will be talked about is Final Fantasy 14, because everyone's talking about this game. People still play it. It's kind of a big deal. Though the newest expansion will probably be announced, and I'm hoping they don't spend too much time on it. I personally do not play Final Fantasy 14, but I know quite a few people who do. Another big one is Dragon Quest XI. This will probably be mentioned. I know they were talking about it a little bit. It probably won't be a main focus, but they'll definitely probably have a trailer this year. There's no doubt about it. Um, the other games that they're also been working on is Battalion 1944. I believe that's scheduled to release later on this year. It might try to be in competition with Call of Duty because they're kind of focusing on World War II. I don't know if the game's coming out this year for Call of Duty, but more likely they are. So check out this game. Maybe it'll be kind of cool. I'm hoping that we actually get a trailer for it. A few other games that they might announce or talk a bit about is their Octopath Traveler, which that's the Project Octopath Traveler, mind you, which is scheduled to release on the Switch. And the Switch is the hot thing this year, so the more games that they get, the better. And having an RPG from Square Enix is definitely going to put them on the map. So we'll probably see something along the lines of a trailer pertaining to that. And I'm not really too sure if we're going to hear anything about their Project Prelude game, because both the Project Octopath Traveler and Project Prelude Room were announced roughly about the same time. We still don't know anything about this game. We don't know what platform it's going to be on. All we know is that the Tales producer, Hideo Baba, is working on it, and we just have to wait and see what's going to end up happening. We also heard a little bit about the Tokyo RPG Factory working on a game. They're probably going to be revealing it at E3 this year, but there's no guarantee on that. It might be next year before we hear about it. So it's just a small leak that was mentioned very briefly. Um, we're probably going to get an announcement for more Final Fantasy 15 DLC, because that's what they see me doing a lot lately, is announcing DLC and releasing it. I personally do not really care about it. I don't think it really needs to be noted or anything like that. One thing that I'm kind of suspicious of is VR, mainly because it was mentioned, I think, last year at E3 about it having some support for Final Fantasy 15. Though I haven't really seen or heard anything else about VR technology being incorporated with any of the other games that Square Enix makes. So it'll be interesting to see if we have anything along those lines. Another thing that was mentioned previously, but I don't know if anybody's even talked about it or revealed any information on, is that Square Enix is apparently working on some Marvel games. I'm not sure what games those are or how it's going to incorporate anything with their company, but we will have to just wait and see. In a way, I'm kind of hoping that it does not get mixed in at all with our beloved Kingdom Hearts series, because I think we have enough crossovers in that. And that would just convolute it even further. The only thing I could even think about including with Kingdom Hearts 3 that is a Disney license would be like Star Wars, but there's no guarantee on that one. So, and that would just be kind of, at the same time, some people probably would not respect it as much. And one of the other things that is more than likely going to pop up are ports. That means ports of existing games, like Final Fantasy or the like, being ported to the Switch or the PS4 or to Steam. This seems to be a really popular trend with Square Enix, is trying to spread themselves as wide as they can and appeal to as many owners of different consoles and even on the PC. I'm also expecting them to announce some type of mobile game. I know they already have plenty of these things already out there, and I myself already play, two of their mobile games. I played Kingdom Hearts. No, it was Unchained Key, and now it's Union Cross. It's a little confusing. And I also play Final Fantasy Record Keeper, which I really do enjoy that. So that is the interesting part of that. So here's hoping that if they do announce a new mobile game, that's a good mobile game and something people want and isn't really draining on everyone's wallet. But we all know how some of these companies run. So, what I will say is, though all of these games that I have mentioned are kind of expected, I'm really hoping that we have something new that's announced. Things that I would really like to see this year at E3 would be Final Fantasy 16 announcement. Maybe something related to Agnes Fury. If anybody is not aware of that, that is the PS4 tech demo that was released a while back, and that somebody indicated that, oh yeah, it might be Final Fantasy 16. It's like, well, no, not really. So maybe tying that in, maybe they are one and the same as Final Fantasy 16 on this theory, I don't know, or connection of the like. Or I would also not be opposed to something related to Chrono Trigger, mainly because Chrono Trigger is about a little over 25 years old. Chrono Cross released on the PS1 back in 1999 in Japan in 2000 here, so it's been almost 20 years for that, and it has been 10 years almost since they released Chrono Trigger for the DS. So they haven't completely forgotten about that game franchise, but they haven't really done anything else with it. I'm also kind of hoping that the uh, the Secret of Mana collection gets announced to come over to the United States. I know it just recently released in Japan. Maybe an official release date here and a price would be great. Um, but at the same time, I understand that having something like that is very exclusive, and American fans have been waiting for it for a long time. Um, Maybe they'll even come to terms that there was a mishap in the way that they were uh, sending those out in Japan. Apparently, they sent them all out without their instruction manual, so people didn't really know how to play the game or have an introduction or the like. So, someone I believe on Twitter or the like made note of how to actually do that. So, fans unite. All right. So, one of the big things that I really am hoping for, and a lot of people have been hoping for quite some time, is they're hoping for a 30th anniversary set for Final Fantasy. And not just one that contains all the games uh, on their respective platforms, but one that's been more or less updated to a more modern console. I mean, playing all of the Final Fantasies. That is 1 through 10, 12, 13, 13.2, 10.2, all those to the modern age. So I might even say that maybe they should exclude 15, but at the same time, it is a Final Fantasy, but it's just a bit newer. Include it all on one platform. Put it on something like the PS4 or the Xbox One or Switch, or even on each of them. But knowing how Square Enix rolls and the way that they kind of favor consoles, it will more than likely be for the PS4. And I know, several people would be like, but they released Final Fantasy 15 for my Xbox One, why aren't they favoring it? Well, because most of their Final Fantasies are released on PlayStation consoles these days. In particular, the Final Fantasy 15 is on the PS4, as is Final Fantasy Type 0. And they also gave a port to Final Fantasy 7 that was originally a port on the PC on the PS4. Okay, so it seems to be the more favored console at this point. Though I'm not really too sure. I'm kind of curious what they're going to end up doing with this, and I know they've been promoting 30 years of Final Fantasy for quite some time. Even the Square Enix's store promotes the 30th anniversary. Like, if you buy a Final Fantasy game from them, you get like a Final Fantasy 15 lanyard, to celebrate Final Fantasy's 30th anniversary. So it's a lot of mixed reception with these games. We all know that Square Enix is most famous for Final Fantasy, but they have other games. Like I said, we have the Marvel games, the Battalion 1944, Dragon Quest, their new projects, and the like. But we have to remember that it is part of their company, and it's only a matter of time until they decide to push out one of these large collections. I mean, it is speculated to be quite costly. I wouldn't expect it to be less than $200, or at least quite a bit, maybe even a bit more. Okay, because it would include more of the other games. I mean, when you really think about it, you can get the entire Lightning Returns trilogy brand new for roughly about $60, and you can get Final Fantasy 15 right now for about $40. So you're looking at about $100 just for 13 and 15, and probably about $20 for 10. With 10.2, you're looking at another depending on which version you get, we have the Zodiac Age for 12, um, which at release it'll probably be about $60. Uh, if we actually included in this, they would probably price it relatively close to that. So you'd be looking at, you know, $180 right there between 10 to 15, and then you'd have to include all of the previous ones, which I would price at probably like $10 a piece for those, which is another $90 um, for each of the other Final Fantasies. This does not include the spin-off games or sequels or prequels or the like. Um, if they ended up counting them all, it's so many. I believe it's something along the line of like I don't know. I have to think about it. So 9 games, the After Years, which is 10. Tactics would be like 11. There's a Cerberus, Before Crisis, 13. Uh, and the list would go on. You'd get so many so quickly. And who knows, maybe they might even include something like movies and the like. Maybe we'll finally get to see the resurgence of the Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals anime, uh, as well as other things like uh, Advent Children again. So, sorry about that. But what would be most important about it is the price point and how they would actually deliver it, and who would actually have it. And the biggest problem that I could see with it is not that it would be expensive, not that it would include all these things or the formatting or the like. It would be availability. Who would actually sell it, and if it was sold like online or something like that, and they had a limited run, would they run out? I would say yes, mainly because there are a lot of retailers and individuals who would buy up these uh, here in the United States. Sometimes not even because they're fans, but rather because they know that if they buy it, they can probably flip it for double what they paid or more. This happened when Kingdom Hearts came out with their uh, collector's edition. It came with the Heartless plush and I think a special box and all that other good stuff. And it retailed for like $100. Um, and then they were sold out of it relatively quickly, and then we found listings on eBay for $250 to $300 easily. So that is kind of a big concern that I have about having a collector's edition anything. This happens with consoles, games, and so forth, especially if they're in very limited quantities because they're collector's edition or the like, because people know that they will buy them. So just a heads up, that is one of my biggest concerns about a collector's edition. But if it came out, it would also be really cool, and it would be one of the best things that Square Enix has ever done. Problem would be is if they release it on one console, let's say the PS4, they are also alienating those that only own an Xbox One, or only own a Switch, or just own an Xbox and a Switch, or maybe they just own a PC. You're alienating all those people, okay? Because they are fans and they probably want it, and to actually play these games, they actually have to go out and buy the console that basically you tell them that they have to buy. So that's one thing to consider. I mean, if Square Enix is watching this, or a representative or the like, keep that in mind when you're releasing that. I would make it so that only if you were somebody who is buying it, you restrict how many that a single person could actually purchase per address, or maybe just a single person, because I don't want to hear about how there was a seller that bought 100 of these things or whatever, and is selling them all on eBay for double or more the price. uh, because I just think that's unfair to the actual people who actually want to collect it for the sake of play rather than anything else. I mean, maybe just make it a multi-disc set and don't include anything else with it. Uh, maybe a small art book or something like that. Nothing too fancy. Don't put any figures, plushes, or the like with it. Because honestly, collectors go after the stuff that seems like it can sit on the shelf for a very long time. And I understand that Final Fantasy games sometimes do get treated like that after they're done playing. People put them on the shelf and they don't play them. But at the same time, you want them to have the availability of actually playing them. Um, One thing that you could do as a company, instead of releasing it, you know, that way, you could always try to release it digitally. That is kind of becoming a thing, and make it just available as a set rather than individual games, and that way, people can pay through like the PlayStation Store. But at the same time, if the PlayStation Network is ever going to go away, like I hear that there was a rumor that PS3's online service for you know PlayStation Store and the like were going to be shut down here in the next year. Well, if you shut that down after somebody's already purchased something, that means 10 years from now they might not be able to access those games. So just a heads up, that is something that could be a problem doing it digitally release. So make your call on what you want to do. I know there are lots of choices. You could do both. I technically would say do a physical release because I feel like more people would really appreciate that. Um, though it is 30 years. I don't know if you're planning on doing something like this again for like the 35th year or the 40th year. And I'm guessing Square Enix is going to be around for a very long time. Uh, I would really like to see them to continue to work very hard on their games and try to release games to us because many people of the new generation, that is people that own PS4s, Xbox Ones, and probably the Switch, and have never really played the older consoles, so they don't know what all these other games are. Um, and it has become one heck of an issue. I know they were available for a while, and I think they still are, on the PS3 digitally, but it doesn't include all of the Final Fantasies. I mean, we're missing Final Fantasy 4 still on there. So, Square Enix, if you're listening to this, we are still missing Final Fantasy 4 on the PS3. Okay, we have 1, 2, and then we don't have 3 because 3 is technically on the DS. Um, and then we just straight up and skip to 5 and 6, and we have 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, which are all great, and we even have tactics, but we're missing 4, which was released on the PlayStation 1, so that there is no excuse for that, whereas Final Fantasy 3 was not. So we need that on there in some way or form. I know we have it available for the PSP, but not for the PS3. So that needs to change, and I really hope that we do get a change on that one. And for many people who are playing it for the first time, or want to play it for the first time on the PS4, not having that accessible is atrocious. We're missing some of the key numbers that major companies, such a great company. So, I mean, we're finally getting 12, which is a big step. But we're still missing uh, those two in particular. So, just a heads up. And it might be because you have some kind of agreement with Nintendo. So, but yeah, those are my E3 predictions this year. I'm really hoping to see a lot of stuff. Hopefully, some favorable stuff. But at the same time, I understand that Square Enix does not have a press conference this year for whatever reason. Um, and when they announced Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3, um, they had their own press conference, and they don't have one this year, so that's kind of disappointing. So they're going to have to sneak it in with somebody else's press conference. It'll probably be with the Switch or the Xbox One or the PlayStation press conference. So just kind of keep a heads up for any of the reveals. These are my predictions. I'm kind of curious what you guys think will happen. what you think or hope will happen, or maybe even what you hope does not happen. Because I know there are many people who hate mobile games, but mobile games make a lot of money for Square, especially those free-to-play ones that where you can put money into it. So just a heads up, as much as you can hate them, they do kind of fund your single-player games, or your multiplayer games that like your online games a little bit. But at the same time, we want good games. That's why we go to Square Enix. They are basically and have been the example of quality for graphics and technology. And hopefully we get something new announced, because that would be totally awesome. So let me know what you think in the comments. And maybe you just want to say hi. So thank you for watching, nevertheless.